Welcome back to the channel, it's LukeTheDuke, and at the time of publication for this video, we are now at T-minus 24 days to go until Starfield hits the button to launch into early access. And we've got some new details concerning a marketing push. All sorts of questions and a bit of buzz were created by the Kinda Funny Games podcast, plus we just received a little leak concerning Starfield pre-downloads. I also wanted to toss around some questions and possible theories as to why we had to leave Earth, and finally, the pre-launch hype comparisons and why I think we are looking at this from the completely wrong angle. I appreciate your continued support towards all my Starfield uploads. Researching and theorizing about this game has been a blast, and in case you haven't yet done so, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. I've of course included chapters for easy viewing, and let's kick this one off. First up is the confirmation that the Starfield marketing plan is starting to see a bit of a more obvious surge. This is the first of two tweets fired off by Idle Sloth I'll be referencing in today's video, confirming that Starfield seems to have ramped up its marketing campaign, stating, FYI, Starfield ads are finally starting to blast off. People are seeing them on Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, and in a Saudi Arabia electronics store. And this also confirms that marketing, and more specifically targeted marketing campaigns, have really changed in the last 10 years. Now, we used to get bombarded by TV ads, which I am sure cost the absolute most money, but with these targeted splashes on Facebook, Reddit, and YouTube, the places that planet Earth tends to go to consume media, Starfield is there and making a push. It would be really interesting to be a fly on the wall of Xbox's marketing floor and just see how many potential sales they are wanting to achieve. Starfield is already a day one drop on Xbox Game Pass, so this would have to be aimed at Microsoft sales such as PC and premium upgrades, anyone on Xbox not on Game Pass, and of course, Steam PC users. Now right now, Starfield has jumped up 15 places to take the 6th spot on Steam's top 100 sellers list, and if you take out CSGO and Call of Duty, which are both free, along with the actual Steam Deck sales, that places Starfield in the top 3 behind 2 games that have already released to the public. Switching gears, and a few days ago during the most recent Kinda Funny Games podcast, we heard this.
Can I say this, and I will keep it anonymous.
Anonymous, okay.
Innocent.
Okay.
I may or may not have talked to someone that has been playing Starfield.
Whoa!
And they may or may not have got me pretty hyped for it, in the sense that this anonymous person said that they're going to be very fascinated to see how it's reviewed just because of the size of what this game is, just how big it is. And I'll leave it at that.
Leaving some to speculate in the comment section that it was actually Paris, the gentleman making the comment, that was already playing the live game and was anonymously making a comment about his current experiences with Starfield. But it again brings forth this topic of just how big Starfield is, as in the sheer size and scope of this game. Now, I believe that Skyrim Special Edition was something like 24.5 gigs on Xbox, and just for comparison, Starfield is weighing in at 125 gigs, so 5 times the size of Skyrim Special Edition. And oh, by the way, for PC, remember that it is requiring the use of an SSD. But the size of the game itself creates a whole new set of issues, especially when it comes to accurately reviewing the game for the purposes of early review content. During this portion of the podcast, Paris really drills down into what it is he wants to experience as part of his review, and it ranged from character creation to shipbuilding, factions to weapons, and despite Todd Howard deflecting the question, can we find a black hole, and what happens after? Depending on when the early review copies are sent out, will ultimately determine if you, the viewers, will be able to watch full, comprehensive reviews prior to playing and or purchasing the game, or will it become a review in progress where certain items are touched on, but in general context. Now, we've seen reports that the main quest storyline is ranging from 30 to 40 hours, and from past experience, we also know that BGS titles are packed full of side content. I remember when I received a review copy to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It was exactly 7 days until they were lifting the review embargo, which was clearly not enough time to finish the game. I posted my review after about 50 hours of gameplay in just 1 week, and I eventually rolled credits at about 100 hours. And so I agree with Paris's 0-hour statement that at about 2 weeks to go before launch, if he has not yet received his code by then, that's when he would begin to panic. Assuming that a review is spoiler-free, do you plan on watching anything Starfield review related prior to launch, or do you plan to just drop in blind? Let me know in the comment section below. Next up, we've seen bits and pieces of lore concerning the reason humans had to leave Earth, and by the way, this is an item that I find truly fascinating. Will Shen, lead quest designer for Starfield, confirmed that humanity no longer inhabits Earth, implying that the planet's atmosphere or landscape had rendered it unwelcoming for human survival. And we've seen clips from previous Starfield trailers, including the direct presentation, showing off what appears to be an astronaut standing on what is left of Earth, looking up at the Gateway Arch, aka the St. Louis Arch. Now, Shen was also quoted as saying, "Yeah, actually very early on in the main quest, we take you to our solar system, which in our lore is called the Old Neighborhood, and you'll be sent there on a mission from Constellation to discover the mysteries of the artifacts, and you'll get in contact with the question of what happened to Earth." And so the question still remains as to what actually happened to force humanity off of Earth, and here's one possible theory. It involves the colony wars that took place 20 years before the setting of Starfield. Looking at the star map, we can see the Sol system, which is our solar system and where Earth is located, and we can also see the systems of Alpha Centauri and Cheyenne, the systems for the United Colonies and Freestar Collective. We also know that the Freestar Collective won the colony wars, and so they would have advanced close or up to the Alpha Centauri system, meaning they would have conquered the outlier systems from Alpha Centauri outwards, which of course included Sol and all the planets in that system. Could a massive battle have taken place on Earth, and that's why it became so ravaged and unable to sustain life? Were nuclear weapons involved, or was there some sort of powerful grav-like device that was unleashed, possibly using the strange alien tech from the trailers? And by the way, here's an even crazier theory for you. Starfield takes place in the year 2330. Fallout 4 takes place just 43 years earlier in 2287. Are they related? Was it the nuclear fallout that eventually pushed humans off of Earth? And are we going to find a Fallout Easter egg on Earth when and if we get to visit our former home? Moving over to the latest Starfield leak, and this was again posted by Idle Sloth on X, formerly Twitter, where he says, FYI, Starfield preloads starts on August 9th according to Amazon, and then it credits another user, Superstar F, for the post. And if you look this one over, it shows the cover of Starfield included in an Xbox Series S bundle, along with a copy of Starfield with a published August 9th preload date, playable on September 6th. So this is the standard game, not including early access, and it also includes the Old Mars skin pack in-game bonus skin, which many of you will instantly recognize as the deep mining helmet and pack, along with the laser cutter. And again, if this Amazon post is accurate, we can assume at least one important piece of information, that being that Starfield is ready for distribution. And I know that some questions have been raised as to why Starfield has not yet achieved Gold Master status, which, by the way, is not an industry requirement, meaning that a version of the game has been determined to be good enough to be shipped to stores. That lack of the Gone Gold announcement led to theories that the game was in a terrible state and that delays were imminent. Well, here it is, apparently ready to download in less than 4 days. So again, if this Amazon post is accurate, that theory goes right out the window. Along these same lines, this Old Mars skin pack, or others like the Constellation skin pack for pre-ordering the Constellation Edition, has led rise to the theory that there will be a cosmetic store and microtransactions will be a part of the game. I'm not going to really dive into this idea. We are talking about a single-player experience that Bethesda has stated will remain a single-player game. if it does not have optional cosmetics really has little consequence. If players want to spend a few bucks to spice up the way their character looks, I don't have an issue with that. Now, if we were talking multiplayer PvP and certain items allowed for faster power level ups or weapons or gear came with extra stats, now that would be a completely different story. And finally, I wanted to briefly circle back to a topic I covered in my last Starfield upload, discussing some of the hype surrounding the game, and for the purposes of this topic, how it is being unfairly compared to Spider-Man 2. Now, I don't want to get into all the nitty-gritty with this one. You could do some of the research of the history of this comparison, but it came down to a Twitter user posting his findings, accurate or flawed, I'm not here to debate that with anyone, and how he used Google Analytics to set up a side-by-side look at how Starfield was trending versus Spider-Man 2. And his findings were then used to debunk the theory that nobody cared about Starfield or nobody was talking about Starfield. Again, that comparison discussion is not what I want to break down because at its core, I think the test subjects are inherently flawed from the start. Really, the only two areas that Starfield and Spider-Man 2 do show some similarities is that they both launch kind of soon and they are both expected to be big. A more natural fit for a comparison would be Cyberpunk 2077, as it is the same genre as Starfield, action role-playing, had somewhat similar hype and buzz surrounding the game leading up to launch, although we've never yet seen those levels that Cyberpunk received, and they are both launching at similar times, albeit Cyberpunk with Phantom Liberty DLC and Starfield with its full launch, but they're at least close. Plus, they are both sci-fi and were completely new IP versus something like Spider-Man, which is MCU and is instantly recognizable across the globe. The biggest argument I could gather from all of this Spider-Man 2 versus Starfield screaming boiled down to views on YouTube trailers. And if we replace Spider-Man 2 with my more natural comparison, Cyberpunk, it starts to make more sense. Now, we can't use the oldest Cyberpunk trailers, as remember, it was teased nearly 8 years before it released, which is mind-blowing. But if we limit the time frame to, say, the last 2 years, just watch how close these view counts are. Now, besides the official gameplay trailer for Cyberpunk, which is now 2 years old and sitting at 33 million views, just look at the other view counts for the next 4 official trailers. You've got Launch Trailer V, 18 million views, Phantom Liberty, 2.6 million views, which is 11 months old, and the newest is 7 months old at 1.8 million views, which is the second Phantom Liberty trailer. Now, I'll leave these up on the screen and add on Starfield so you can see just how close this is. And I wanted to apologize up front, as Bethesda Softworks does not have their Starfield playlist set up exactly as I need it, but you've got an official teaser trailer from 2 years ago with 18 million views, gameplay reveal at 5.1 million and 1 year ago, and then the barrage starting 1 month ago, gameplay trailer, 2.1 million, Starfield Direct, 2.9 million, and then the 3 animated shorts all 12 days ago at 2.8, 3.7, and 3 million views. I'll wrap it all up with this. Cyberpunk 2077 was considered a once-in-a-lifetime hype train extravaganza, the likes of which we have never yet seen. I mean, before it launched, it was as big can be, and I know that this is just one small slice of the action. We're not getting the whole picture here, like social media impressions, etc., but just using these YouTube video view count accusations and comparing Starfield to a genre of game that it more exactly stacks up against, the numbers don't lie. It is right there, neck and neck with Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the only comparisons left to happen, we'll have to wait for Starfield to fully launch, and we will again get to compare these two pieces of action RPG history. Lots of different topics tossed around in this one, theories, concepts, and some new info. And as always, I welcome your feedback about anything Starfield in the comments section below. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description. Shout out to the over 131,000 of you that have taken the leap and hit subscribe. And as always, a huge thanks goes out to my patrons on Patreon. I've also been seeing some of you out there hitting those YouTube chat super thanks. I mean, I've never really seen those pop up, but they are awesome to see, and thank you so much. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.